We're sat on the Isle of Wight now, and this is where myself, Phil and Boone all came from. And I guess this is where we learnt our trade in the music business, really. I started playing drums when I was about 9 years old at school. And I was very lucky because when I was 11 I went to a very good school, Cowes High School, that they were very behind kids playing. You know, they had a very good school orchestra and things like that.
My background, I guess, is very similar to Mark's in that the way I started out was much less organised than like a school music thing. It was my idea to play, and it wasn't like I was doing other music or anything. And we played in various bands. The only reason we didn't actually get together that often on the island was because Mark was a drummer then, and I guess if he'd been a bass player then, we'd have played a lot more in bands and stuff.
I mean, I sort of started music, the very first thing about music was in primary school. It's like a compulsory subject, so I'd like playing recorder and I tried to play violin. But it didn't really strike me as anything then. When I went to grammar school, I sort of gave up music for metalwork and started doing all that. Then when I was about 16, I decided to play sax. I just picked one up one day and liked it. Sort of caught my imagination. And then a year later I started playing guitar, and I just started like a sixth form A-level course. As soon as I started playing guitar, I was really hooked, and so A-levels went right out the window.
I'm like the odd one out, if you like, from this location, because
no colour, not a colour thing.
Aside from that, I was born in London, and I sort of attended local comprehensive schools, and then at the age of 14, I found out about, or my family found out about this specialist music school in Manchester called Chetham's, where they sort of took you on a musical audition, and then you'd like have a first and second study, and you'd do an academic program, but music would be crammed in everywhere else, so you'd be doing orchestra and all that kind of thing. So I went up to that school and boarded out there for 4 years, and then sort of did auditions for the colleges in London, and the only one I successfully got into, or the only one I successfully passed, was for Guildhall.
The sort of the practical side of playing for me came with playing in holiday camps, places like you can see all around here, which is a very big industry on the island. Tourism is, I guess, the biggest industry on the island, particularly obviously this time of year. So there was no shortage of holiday camps and holiday camp bands to play in.
I got to know what is in your mind, 'cause you've been writing letters when you were not 18. If you still want me, if you still want me, you can have it. I'm tired, it's been not taking, still want me, my old river.
a shock actually, you know, because we all had the same ideals when we left the island. We had the same sort of musical background in terms of what we listened to. There's nothing to see here, nobody to see to play. So you buy records and you get into sort of music that way. And we had all this idea that London was like this incredible place where all these beautiful things are happening, like, you know, all the jazz and stuff, and nothing was happening when we got there. It was totally, total anticlimax. You know.
It was like when we were playing down here, this guy Pete Cotton that we all sort of played with at some time or other in the holiday camps, he was an ex-Londoner, and he sort of advised us, quite sincerely I'm sure, that you could go down Shaftesbury Avenue and like Phil Seaman would be thrashing the hell out of some drums in the window, and it's incredible, you know, and he's saying, whoa, they're hot in town, mate. So, you know, I almost didn't want to go to London. I had to go to sort of see it, and I couldn't believe it. You know, it's really just like so the streets were paved with gold, which of course, you know, they weren't at all.
I've always been intrigued by the fact that now people come and approach me the way I felt about those guys, like Miles Davis or Chick Corea. When I picked up a record by those people, I wondered what they were like, you know, what drove them on. And like they were just human beings, really, underneath all that, you know, enigma that was the way it seemed to me. And like at concerts, these kids come up and they look at me and they talk to us about as if we're something different, you know. And it's just crazy. It's not what we do and what thousands of other people do across the world is not out of the average person's reach.
Yeah, try and keep the beat going with your foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. The music workshop is the part of the Last Chance Centre that I'm involved with, and that's been running for about 3 years. And it gives kids the chance to play electric instruments and drums and stuff like that, which they probably wouldn't have the chance in school, for example, to play rock music.
Keep this hand going. So, all the time. What's happening? Yeah, your hand is coming off when you hit the snare.
That's all I remember. And it's the same way. You know, the old... Yeah.
Was that at school? Was that private teacher?
That was at school. We used to have 2 piano teachers.
What sort of made you start playing?
It's just interest in music, and the chance to do it was, you know.
I mean, was this place sort of... Did you know about this place already, or...?
No, we found out it through the guy in the Venture Bloke.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah, Tony.
No kid I've ever met has come from school and said they showed me how to play rock music or they showed me how to play an electric instrument. The whole concept of playing something that loud is sort of unheard of at school, you know, and it's something that the kids want to do because the music they listen to is electric music, and they have no chance in a formal academic sense to do that. And that's what this workshop provides, I think.
We're talking about kids now today, and like we're living in a rock and roll era, if you like. We're living in a very sort of electric age. And times have changed, you know. The one thing I did think that was limiting at school was that sort of blinkered attitude of, well, look, school music lessons are, you know, beat along, 2 fingers on the palm of your hand, ta-ta-tap-a-ta, while we sing through this song, and maybe we'll do a quick, you know, what is it called when you sing in a, you sing a rounds, yeah, you know, you sing rounds, like, and the gay Robin came running, and la-la-la-la, the gay Robin came running, and la-la-la, the gay Robin came running, and la-la-la-la, and all that sort of thing.
He's good at that.
Well, that's what it was, you know. That isn't music, you know. I wasn't learning anything there. Now, I'll tell you, right, it's like, I'll explain some stuff about slapping bass. And it's like how I go about doing it. It's like, I play off the knuckle. It's like I got a callus built up over a period of time. And it's like fretted instruments like do slap better than like a fretless bass will ever do, because you do actually start working off of the frets, and when you're hammering on, it just worries me how many kids that could have been great players, good musicians, and had careers as great players, had it sort of crushed out of them by maybe some negative responses from their teachers and tutors. There's one very good story about a drummer, an American drummer called Billy Cobham, who is really one of the great drummers of all time now. And he went to a tutor in New York, and Billy Cobham has a very unique way of playing. He plays open-handed, and he plays that with his left hand on the hi-hat and his right hand on the snare drum. Although it's like the uniform setup, he's not left-handed, he just plays this way. And he went into this drum tutor, saying, look, let me play like this. And the drum tutor said, no way, you must hold the stick across your hands like this, and you play with your right hand on the hi-hat. That's what drumming's all about. You drum like this. And Cobham said, no, this is how I'm playing. And the tutor said, no, forget it. And Cobham went his own way and went on to become one of the greats of all time. And he actually met this drum tutor years later. And Cobham said, well, I didn't do so bad, did I? And this bloody tutor said, yes, but think how good you would have been if you'd listened to me in the first place and played like this. like, now start working into like a rhythmic approach, like going, keeping the same time, 3, 4. There you go. Just killing it. It's like beating it out, you're going da 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 da. Check it out.
Like musical education in schools is it's like all other forms of streaming education. It's like you do O-level music and then A-level music and then go to college, and you probably do like the grades, like you have to grade 8 on piano and you go on to what else is after that.
Yeah.
All these little sort of carrots they dangle in front of you. They sort of say if you do this you'll be a better musician, and that's just crazy because what it is a system to turn out professional people, like professional players, to get into the orchestras or teachers. It's just like a big wheel. And they can't cater for individuals that have another way of thinking. They just can't cater for somebody that says, hey, I don't want to do that, I want to make music like this. Maybe I don't have to hold the sticks like this, I can hold them like that, or play left-handed. They can't cater for that. But that's just the nature of a system, any system,
Say, you're right-handed, obviously, aren't you? So your right hand is then, to begin with, is the right hand on this, so it's going, so you're playing those beats. And whatever's happening is going, yeah, that's going on all the time. Whatever you're doing there, it's going on, this is going continuously.
That's what I meant before,
Yeah.
when I did that.
I had one music teacher on the Isle of Wight when I was doing A-level studies here, and all he would talk about was the entries to Bach fugues, Like, he went to college, he had A-level music and stuff, and all he would discuss, he would talk about music in terms of entries to Bach fugues. That's all he ever talked to me, harmony, like, the harmony, the classical harmony 5/4 and all this stuff. But, I mean, what about the rest of the fugue, man? What happens afterwards, But, like, his thing was, like, this particular sort of specific area was this, like, he was so intrigued by the entry to a fugue, But that, what the hell's that all about, I didn't get anything from that. I'm sure he doesn't, really.
When I went through college, although some of the things I was doing I wasn't that enamoured with at the time, I thought that it'd be a good idea to go through it and finish the course and take what I could out of it. And I'm glad I went to college because, I mean, I learnt something about the background in music, which was interesting to me anyway. And I picked up some good things about writing music and so on, which I may use later on. But it's like I'm lucky because I can sort of take what I want from that experience and leave the rest out.
So if you try and play that thing again, but try and keep the hi-hat hand playing every beat. So when you hit the snare, you hit both together. So you're going, take it off. Try and play it all the time. So.
It depends on the kind of person you are. I find personal discovery much more rewarding, and it means a lot more to me than having it shown me or taught me. And so what I know, I might be doing everything wrong, but at least it...
We used to have a mark book situation at school. I mean, like, if you'd done anything really bad, I mean, like, throwing abuse at a teacher, 1 mark away, 2 marks away. I mean, caught jamming on a piano, which was considered putting a piano out of tune.
Oh no, I don't believe it.
Something like 2 marks, plus the fact that he didn't really like it.
Yeah, like, just start trying to play the lead stuff now. It's just too early.
So I should be really playing with them.
Yeah, just learn chords so that you start learning about the guitar and how it's sort of how it's laid out. Because it's like you can actually play all the notes on the guitar in the first 5 frets, and then just on the top string you can go up to the 4th octave. But the rest of the guitar is just like repeating notes. It repeats notes all over it. And just to learn how it's laid out, just the way to understanding how a guitar sort of works. Yeah.
I mean, one of the first things I found was actually getting used to like playing chords with both hands or playing chords with the left hand, whereas before I've been, you know, classically trained. I was playing the bass note with the left hand and the chords with the right.
So you can tell you still like this on Saturday.
So like, I mean, that chord is just sort of playing. You can sort of like, you've got the freedom of both hands to sort of do inversions of it, or necessarily like play a tune up here. I found that certain teachers would inspire me to do things, whereas others wouldn't. I mean, this is in other subjects, but I think it has relevance. For example, there was an English teacher at my middle comprehensive school, and she'd come with all these fantastic ideas, and I'd go away and become incredibly creative and write lots of poems and sort of stories and stuff. I couldn't wait for English lessons. And then I went to high school for 1 year before I moved up to this music school. And it was all sort of O-level and A-level and English language and literature. And it just boxed up my creativity straight away.
Hey, this song is off Standing in the Light. And it's called My Cookie.
I suppose the best way to say how I started improvising was like first I'd pick out tunes that I liked, I mean like pop songs at the time and just songs that I heard on the radio, and then I'd go to the piano and try and work out, you know, where the tunes were and what the chords were and so on. And then, you know, after playing through them a few times I'd get bored and I'd try and change the chords here and there. And I mean I suppose that's where it starts.
I find it hard to find the chords and actually move my fingers to get the chords.
So I think the best way, I mean the way I did it when I first started was like, it was Bob Dylan actually, just a Bob Dylan songbook. And all the chords were written out in little charts. So every song that I played was always maybe a slightly different chord that I hadn't learned before. So it's like you sort of go through those songs playing them, and your fingers start moving with the chords, and get, you know, free your fingers. And at the same time you sort of gradually progress. I mean, when you first start, it just seems like you're never going to learn anything. It takes a long time. But it seems the best way to learn to me. It's like you just, without knowing too much about music, you can pick up chord shapes and start understanding, you know, the structure of songs and how they